on this high-velocity episode of MythBusters.
You killed the dwarf!
Adam and Jamie investigate yet another way your car could kill you.
This is fun.
Whoa! As they test the myth of exploding bumpers.
Yeah, this is actually really scary.
It's hot, smelly, dangerous work.
We're fully armed?
We're hot.
And that's the way we like it.
We may have done that.
Then Carrie, Tori, and Grant are on the edge of their saddles.
Yeah, got him!
As they challenge an awesome myth of medieval cavalry.
Grant, you're going the wrong way!
Can an expertly fired arrow really penetrate double deep with a galloping start? And how far will they go to prove the point? We're all a quiver. Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage.
I ate a radio for science.
And Jamie Heineman.
I'll deflect the bullet.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience.
There's your problem.
Joining them, Tori Belleci,
Punch through!
Grant Imahara,
That's right. I'm gonna build a robot.
and Carrie Byron.
This is gonna be a whole lot of fun, huh?
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
What are you doing? Is it time for, like, fire safety tips or something?
In fact, it is. Today's fire safety tip is don't stand near a car that's on fire.
Okay. Why?
All right, I'm glad you asked. Because it turns out that some cars have a bumper attached to them by a shock absorber. And this is to, allow the bumper to absorb some of the hit when it bumps into something. And that in a car fire, that shock absorber can overheat and explode and send the bumper shooting out, potentially kneecapping anybody who's unfortunate enough to be standing in front of or behind the car on fire.
I sense a car fire in our near future.
I think it's definitely something we should test.
Okay.
Bumpers are designed to protect your car by absorbing some of the impact from a low-speed collision. But if your car's on fire, this myth contends that the gas-filled pistons can heat up to a point where the bumper becomes a deadly projectile, and its range is an incredible 50 feet.
As far as the methodology goes, I think it's pretty straightforward. We just go to a junkyard, we get some bumpers of the appropriate type, we subject them to some really high heat, and we test them.
Right, but since this whole thing is about what happens to these bumpers in a car fire, I think our very first step is to simply set a car on fire and take some measurements and readings to figure out what kind of temperatures we're actually talking about.
Agreed.
So the boys bowled up to the bomb range to set a car on fire. This is familiar MythBusters territory. So how hard can it be? Well, as hard as you want to make it.
We're all right.
What the hell are you doing?
Having some fun.
Jamie's idea of fun is likely different to yours, mine, and Adam's.
Remember, kids, you really can get in trouble with one of these things.
It's an apt start to a day that will not go quite to plan.
We have found some potential cases of this actually happening, that maybe bumpers shot off during car fires. And the researchers have found us a make and model similar to those in the reports that we have. So we're going to set this thing on fire, find out how hot a car fire actually gets, take temperature readings all around it, and if we're very lucky, maybe we'll get a bumper shooting off.
That would be a bonus. But remember, their primary purpose is to see just how hot a car fire gets. Fortunately, there's some adult supervision on hand.
Good morning. We got just a small car fire we're going to set and hopefully help ask you guys to put out.
No problem, sir.
Adam draws on boyhood skills to raise the car and strip the wheels in next to no time. Here in California, it's a crime to burn tires. For some reason, it's not a crime to wear a silver suit with suspenders. As Adam slips into something less comfortable, Jamie considers the finer details.
We're gonna light the car on fire, and being as the engine has fuel, it has oil, it has plastic parts, it's got batteries with electricity. You've got all the elements you need to create an energetic fire. And that also happens to be the area around the bumper. So that's where we're going to focus our ignition, and we'll see what happens.
And just for good measure, when the car's ablaze, they'll get accurate temperature measurements by circling it with a thermal imaging camera.
That ought to do. What do you think?
Go for it.
This is fun.
But try as he might, Adam can't manage to set fire to the engine, even though it's swimming in gasoline. Making fire is something even cavemen mastered. But we've struggled with this before. Who could forget the shaky start to trailblazers?
It's hard stuff to light.
It only lights when it gets mystified.
This delayed ignition is risky business, and statistically, it's getting more perilous by the second. I mean, nothing's gone wrong for almost 40 minutes.
Whoa! I'm okay.
You got a little bit of a haircut there, didn't you?
I got a little bit of a, not a haircut, I got a little bit of a hair on the back of my hand.
Considering the rough start, the car's quickly engulfed in flames.
It's all happening a lot faster than I thought it would.
That's one out-of-control car fire.
You were afraid that it was going to burn itself out.
As the wind shifts, Adam's forced to move the thermal camera 20 feet to the left. Any thoughts of circling the blaze are abandoned as the flames follow the smoke in an unpredictable arc.
Are you getting any kind of a reading yet?
Yeah, I'm actually getting, you know, easily 1,000 degrees.
Okay.
1,050, 1,100. This is hot.
At this point, a bumper flying 50 feet would confirm the myth. The skipper and Gilligan could high-five each other, share a man hug, and head home. But it's just not that kind of a day.
Well, our pistons are still there.
The bumper is melted.
And that actually tells us something about what temperatures were achieved, because the bumpers are aluminum, and aluminum melts at around 660 Celsius.
Well, riddle me this, Batman. What's the melting point of glass? Look at that. I've never seen anything like that.
That's even hotter because that melts at around 1400 Celsius.
There's no doubt they had the heat, an impressive 1,400 degrees Celsius, and that's what they came here to measure. Still, the bumpers didn't go ballistic. Of course, they're designed not to, but there are those who swear they've seen this myth in action.
What this tells us is that this is a very, very specific set of circumstances that is required to make this happen.
I think now we got to go back to the shop, work on some individual shocks, heating them, and seeing what kind of results we can get.
So how's your hand?
Hurts a little bit, but it'll be better by tomorrow.
Hey, you got another one.
I do.
You know, you guys, ever since we did Hwacha, I really wanted to do some more medieval weaponry myths.
That is perfect, because we have one that comes out of the Hungarian army during the 1500s. Now, apparently they believed that an archer riding on the back of a galloping horse, if he were to shoot an arrow, that arrow would have twice the penetrating power as an archer firing an arrow standing still.
Sounds like a myth to me.
I know, it's hard to believe, right?
Physics, history, let's do it.
Two of my worst subjects.
Back in the 1500s, Hungarian archers were the most skilled and feared warriors in Europe. In fact, archery was practiced as a martial art. And the boldest claim made by these master bowmen was that they could actually get twice the penetration when the arrow was shot from the back of a galloping horse.
Okay, so it sounds like we need to get our hands on a medieval-style bow, fire arrows at the target from a stationary position, and then gallop at the target and fire arrows again.
Right, well then we'll look at the two sets of arrows and see which ones go deeper into the target.
Wait a minute, so if you're firing a bow from the top of the horse, that means you have no hands to hold on to the reins, and don't they gallop at like 40 miles an hour?
Exactly, that's why you have to be an expert horse rider.
What could possibly go wrong?
Custer's very words to the 7th Cavalry at Little Bighorn. The team has wisely chosen a venue that specializes in mounted archery.
We've come to the Cascade Marchador and Mounted Archery Center in Bend, Oregon. Now, we've done myths about horses, we've done myths about archery, but they're going to help us put the two together.
Most of my experience comes from riding an iron horse. I would say a real horse twice. Once as a kid, and once a really old horse that had diarrhea on the beach.
And Tori's only slightly more upbeat.
You know, as a kid watching all these war movies with these mounted archers running into battle, killing the enemy, I kind of have this fantasy that I could probably just jump on one of these horses, get the bow and arrow, and go ahead and do it. And it's not going to be that hard. But I'm probably really wrong.
If recent history is any guide, Tori and Equus Cabellus are barely on speaking terms.
They are going way faster this time.
That was great. Can we do that again?
And this time he has to ride the beast at full gallop, drop the reins, then let loose a lethal arrow.
Let's go.
It takes a lot of concentration to do two things at once. It's like patting your head and rubbing your belly. I think riding a horse while shooting arrows is going to be quite a challenge.
You can say that again. Grant and Carrie are both learner riders, and they'll have to steer without using the reins.
Come on.
You give them a little squeeze and a click.
That way. That way.
Yeah, okay, that wasn't the way I wanted to go.
He's got steering. It's just not power steering. That way. Hard left.
Forget archery at the gallop. Let's see if these amateur light horsemen can shoot from a saunter.
I think we're ready to attack.
Grant's the first to try his luck.
Interesting strategy, Grant.
Interesting isn't quite the word.
Grant, you're going the wrong way! Attack!
A man with a drawn bow on a wayward horse is a deadly threat to all and sundry.
Use the horse, Grant. Choose the horse. Oh!
More by good luck than good management, the horse eventually turns toward the target.
Try not to shoot the horse in the head, Grant. Oh, so close.
Carrie's horse has a much better sense of direction, but still no sense of occasion.
Go faster. Now, if we could just do that a little faster.
At least she hit the target. Let's see if Tori can do it a little faster.
Yeah, got him!
Not bad at all, but we're testing a myth based on the best mounted archers in history. There's no point in our guys taking a static comparison shot. It's time to saddle up the professionals.
Well, considering Grant's horse keeps going in the wrong direction, Carrie's horse keeps eating on the way into battle,
Yep.
I think we're gonna have to leave this to the experts.
We're gonna collect data from them, check their results, and that way you can see if we got the penetration power from an extra momentum of a running horse.
Now, the three pieces of data that we need are the speed of the horse, the terminal velocity of the arrow, and then finally, the thing about which this myth is truly about is the penetration of the arrow.
So the team demotes itself to setting up the gizmos that should accurately measure the speed of the arrow and the penetration.
We're also going to be measuring the speed of the horses. So I've got this radar gun, and we'll point it at the horses, and it'll give us their speed in miles per hour.
First up, Lucas, Katie, and Holm take a bunch of shots from a standing start. This is the key control data they'll need to compare with arrows fired at the gallop. Average arrow speed is right on the money for the myth, between 130 and 140 miles per hour.
6 1/8 inches deep into the foam. 8 inches and 3/8. 10 3/4 inches.
And now for some real riding. Top speed for light cavalry is reckoned at close to 40 miles per hour. So to properly test the myth, they all need to hit 40 and hit the target.
Wow, nice shot.
You notice she smiles the entire time. Like, oh yeah, whatever.
So she's galloping at 44 miles an hour and hitting the target, I'd be smiling too.
Wow, nice shot.
Anybody who actually released an arrow off of a galloping horse, it's like a rush. It's a very unique discipline, very challenging. It's probably the most difficult thing that I have ever done.
Every arrow that hits home
Dang, she is good.
gets wrenched out and measured.
11.5 inches, 12.5 inches.
On average, the penetration is deeper,
3/8.
but not by much, suggesting that this medieval myth might be horse manure. But the data just isn't consistent enough to make a call. 3 different archers, 3 different horses. Arrows fired at different speeds from a variable distance. The data is diabolical.
Our riders did really great. I mean, they were accurate and they had a great speed. Unfortunately, all of these numbers are just not consistent enough to give us a really good conclusion. Nothing here really supports the myth, but I'm afraid that our margin of error is way too big. I mean, we've got moving horses and we're, of course, human errors involved here. So I think we really need to take this back to the shop, see what variables we can cut out, and see if we can just find the core of this myth, which is, will the momentum of movement add penetration to the shot?
Testing the myth of exploding bumpers, Adam and Jamie torched a car to see just how hot it burns, around 1,400 degrees Celsius.
Whoa!
The car fared much worse than Adam,
I'm totally all right. It just scared me.
but the bumpers failed to blast off.
Well, our pistons are still there.
The bumper is melted.
Time for a pit stop to pick up the parts they'll need.
Yep, this one's it.
Specifically, the kind of bumper shocks that supposedly launched the legend.
Like little rockets right there, huh?
Well, hopefully.
With enough spare parts for multiple tests, it's time for a closer look at those little rockets.
Well, this is our bumper, and these 2 cylindrical objects I'm holding on to are our potential culprits. These are part of the bumper system meant to eliminate or reduce damage to the car when you hit something at a low speed. And I think the way they work is you've got an internal sleeve and an external sleeve. And when you hit something at a slow speed, the internal sleeve moves slightly. It's pushing against some kind of gas, and that hopefully reduces damage to the car. But when you heat that gas that it's pushing against, it expands, causing this thing to fail catastrophically and maybe hurt some safety personnel in the vicinity. At least that's the theory. That's what we've got to test out.
They'll start the testing without the actual bumper, because these are the alleged culprits. Adam sets up the blast screen as Jamie spot welds a steel tube to a heavy stand. It should hold the shocks nice and snug and safe.
A car bumper would normally go on this end, and normally this part would be mounted on the front of a car. Now, this area right in here is a chamber that's filled with gas under pressure. So that's normally what absorbs the shock when you have a car accident. But in our case, we're going to bring this torch head in here and put heat to the bottom of this. And at a certain point, we suspect we're going to reach a critical kind of heat level where the gas pressure exceeds what this chamber will hold, and this shoots out this way at high velocity.
Adam attaches a thermocouple to monitor the surface temperature. And now for the heat source. Jamie lights an oxyacetylene torch, and they're good to go.
Moving it in.
All right. That looks good.
Try not to bump that.
Temperature's rising fast. 10 seconds in, we're at 50 degrees Celsius.
They don't expect this to get quite as hot as the car fire. After all, that was 1,400 degrees Celsius. The aim here is to see if directional heat works where an unfocused inferno failed.
Any predictions as to when it's going to blow? I'm guessing 620 degrees.
I don't know. All I do know is that right there is a pipe bomb.
It's at about 500 Fahrenheit, 295 Celsius.
You know, this is actually really scary.
I agree. Ho, ho, ho! Looks like we got some kind of failure.
9 minutes in, with the temperature just past 400 degrees, toxic smoke starts to billow from the piston. No one knows for sure what it is, but the noxious smell is enough to put the fear into everyone.
You gonna turn it off?
Yeah. It's just making a lot of smoke. I think we've lost pressure.
All right, let's all clear out of here and evacuate. This place
Yeah.
is getting toxic.
Who knows what that is?
Yeah.
When the smoke clears and the piston cools, they decide to do what maybe they should have done first off. Cut the darn thing in half to see how it works.
Oh, interesting.
There's an O-ring in there, actually.
Yeah, it's some melted plastic.
And that looks like that's a sealed plug. And on that end, that goes to, where's that hole go to?
I don't know. That's curious, isn't it?
So the pipe gets sliced into ever smaller pieces. But the boys remain almost as baffled as when they began.
That's the compression chamber.
So that goes there.
Maybe this thing moves?
They know that somewhere inside the inner tube is a fluid chamber, and somewhere else there's a compressed gas chamber. And that's what they're looking for.
I don't get this at all.
Just as confusion hits critical mass,
So it looks like that is the gas chamber. So one way or another, that's where the heat has to go. We were heating it up at the other end.
Yeah. So we got to put the flame right on the end of this.
And hopefully it won't melt the seals.
Hopefully.
Test 2 proceeds with a more focused flame, hopefully raising the heat so fast that the gas explodes before the sealing ring melts and lets it dissipate disappointingly safely.
We're getting that back end as hot as possible, as fast as possible.
But these smoke signals are not sending a hopeful message.
Does that mean I'm burning a hole?
That means you burned a hole. 52 seconds. I'll bet that hole is part of the design process. I'll bet that's made to fail, just in that exact way.
This thing's made to not blow. How are we going to get it to blow?
Don't you hate it when something you've paid good money for won't break the way you want it to? As for blowing this thing the mythical 50 feet, 50 miles looks just as likely.
This is failing, but it's failing safely. We don't want a safe failure. We want a kaboom. We want this thing to become a projectile. So, next thing we're thinking of is putting heat right here at the neck, away from this safety release, away from this O-ring, away from this plastic, hopefully to get enough pressure in this gas chamber to cause the catastrophic failure we're looking for.
What we hope is that we can find a sweet spot for the flame to hit that won't melt seals, and yet we'll get a bang out of the result. Is it metal?
That looks good.
Okay.
Okay.
Now it's getting it red hot there.
Yeah, that's really fast.
And a rapid heat spike might just do the trick. Then again, it might not.
Too much heat too quickly.
Too much heat too quickly.
This failure to launch becomes all the more frustrating when Adam and Jamie get new intelligence from the researchers. They found a real live person who's experienced a genuine exploding bumper event. Oakland firefighter Jennifer Schmid wasn't just a witness, she was a casualty.
Can you tell us what happened?
Sure. We got called one night for a vehicle fire in someone's driveway up next to a house. When we got there, the car was on fire, so I pulled the hose line around to the side of the car, the right side, and started to put the nozzle up under the wheel well to put the flames out. And that's when we heard the first of 2 explosions at that point. I thought initially that it was the right front tire that exploded, because I've heard and seen that several times during car fires. And I moved in front of the car, and just as I opened the nozzle, we heard another explosion, and that's when something hit my legs, and I was knocked to the ground and started yelling for help. I had no idea what happened.
So it turned out to be the bumper that hit you?
Yes, and they brought the bumpers actually to the hospital to show me, so it was kind of scary to see that.
What were the extent of your injuries?
Well, the bumper hit both legs, but it only broke my left lower leg, and it broke both bones, the tibia and the fibula. The tibia was broken in about 20 pieces, so pretty significant.
But our myth from the fan site is a bit more extreme. There's no doubt that Jennifer was badly injured, but bits of this bumper flew 15 feet, not 50. Still, this first-hand account of Jen's trauma inspires Adam to rethink his methods.
But the difference between our setup and the real world is that that chuck is usually mounted to a bumper. And the bumper in question is a massive piece of aluminum about 1/4 inch thick that is acting as a heat sink, i.e. it is pulling heat away from the end of that bumper, exactly where we're finding one of the most effective safety valves. So we're going to bolt back a piece of bumper onto that shock, heat it in the same place, and see if we get a different result. There you go, one big heat sink coming up.
And a finishing touch from Jamie.
This is perforated metal. I'm gonna, wire a couple of these pieces on there, and so hopefully this will spread the heat out to where we don't end up with a red hot molten area that will burst the chamber before it explodes the way we want it to.
So it's back behind the blast screen for the last time.
That's a lot of heat. Pretty quick, right? Does it look good?
It does look good.
That diffuser is getting red hot, but I don't think the rest of it is.
I hope this one works.
Me too.
These 1 in a million myths kick our ass every time.
And these two must have targets tattooed on their own rear bumpers. After 5 minutes...
Oh.
Where did that come from?
Looks like it blew a hole in that front part.
Where it did before?
Yeah. Damn it.
I don't think we can do anything more with this.
It could take a lifetime of testing to replicate what must be a 1 in a million occurrence. And the boys might have better things to do with their twilight years.
I think we have to abandon it.
But if you think they're giving up before we see a bumper go ballistic, just remember, you're watching MythBusters.
One.
Despite the best efforts of our amateurs and the pros, inconsistent data means that our medieval archery myth remains unresolved. The legend we're testing is that expert Eastern European archers got twice the penetration shooting from horseback. To bust or confirm it, man and beast need to take a back seat.
Mounted archers were amazing, but the results just not consistent enough to call it.
Yeah, to make this an accurate experiment, we need to have the speed of the horse, the speed of the arrow, and the accuracy all be repeatable.
And with humans and horses in the equation, that's just not gonna happen.
All right, well, why don't we get rid of both? We'll replace the bow with a crossbow that's calibrated to a medieval bow, and then we'll replace the horse with the vehicle, so that way we make sure it's going at the same speed every time.
And to make sure that we're firing from the same place every time, you can mount the crossbow.
This is gonna be great. I know the perfect vehicle. I'll go get it.
Okay, he better not be going for my car.
But then you'll have a crossbow attached to your car.
Carrie's wheels are safe for now. Grant's already sourced a replacement horse that will do 40 miles per hour every time. Guaranteed.
Oh my God, it's perfect!
Isn't that?
Dude, let's invade! Yeah. Oh my... This is our horse. This is our new horse.
The Jeep comes fitted with what looks like a 50 cal machine gun.
Does this work? No, it's a replica.
Tori plans to replace that with a compound crossbow. Naturally, he'll have to test it first. So now for one of those definitive, don't try this at home moments.
Well, it looks like it's accurate. Now, whether or not it's consistent, I'll find out.
While Tori sets the platform for a more credible set of crossbow tests, Carrie carves out a hood ornament that honors the origins of the myth.
We have to take the horse out of the equation, but I don't want to take it out entirely, because really it's the essence of the myth. So I'm going to dress up our car so it looks a little more like a horse.
Meantime, Tori's found a target to test the consistency of the penetration. That would be the back of Grant's head. As you'd expect, the damage done to the jelly brain is almost the same from each shot.
2 1/8 inches.
And Tori's fine-tuned the bow speed back to a more leisurely, medieval pace. He decides to mount the bow on a camera tripod head screwed onto the gun strut. Carrie welds a sharpened steel tube to the grill so she can mount the foam head. All it needs is brute force and a little leverage.
It's having one of those freaking days.
Well, she hasn't tipped a forklift or set herself on fire, but yeah, we're with you, Carrie.
How far down do you want to go?
The heart of this myth is really a simple question. Will the atom momentum of a horse give extra penetration power to an arrow? So we're taking out a few variables here so we can just get down to that one little question. Our horse is now a car horse. That way we don't have all of the jostling and we have a constant speed because the horses, they just weren't getting it when I was explaining to them to go one speed.
With a horse head to the fore and a horse tail aft, this custom Jeep is undeniably one of a kind, especially when the whole thing is sprayed in We Mean Business black.
Black Shooty. That's her name, Black Shooty. Get it?
But Grant's head is way too small to be a viable target. So the man himself offers up an alternative with a similar density to the flesh of a barbarian enemy.
Now this foam is going to make a great target for comparing the penetrating power of our arrows. But I think it's missing a little something. I think it's missing that hint of realism.
Time to dress down for the occasion.
What exactly are we?
We're ancient warriors. It's not really very accurate, but...
Yeah, we're the invading horde. Okay? All right.
This isn't the History Channel.
Yeah.
Grant sets the timer on the camera, and the crew do their best to say cheese in barbarian. We're left with a happy snap, well and truly fit for a big foam dartboard.
Good. I thought that was good.
Yeah, it felt convincing to
Okay.
me.
I felt angry.
Okay,
That was
good.
good.
It's one thing to ride a horse at speed without falling off. It's at least twice as hard to drop the reins and shoot an arrow. But will that arrow get twice the penetration?
I think we're ready to attack.
Carrie, Tori, and Grant began testing their medieval archery myth with real horses and a handheld bow.
Oh, so close.
For the sake of consistency, they've changed up to a Jeep and a crossbow, but the principle is just the same. Could a modest 40 miles per hour running start double the depth of the arrow? The next challenge is to drive their tricked-up Jeep through the city and over the Bay Bridge to the Alameda test track.
If we don't get pulled over, this will be a miracle.
Hey, Grant, you just hold your horses over there, buddy.
All this yelling is making me a little horse. So we've come out to Alameda Runway. This is one of our most favorite places in the whole world to test myths because we have this big, long stretch of road and there's no one around anywhere to catch a stray arrow.
Well, that saved us a bundle in public liability insurance, but it also means there's no audience for the artwork.
Got our own billboard.
Xena, Conan, Papa Smurf?
Hopefully they've nailed the consistency. But let's remember that this myth rests entirely on added momentum. Tori needs to shoot at speed precisely 60 feet short of the target.
60 feet, right here.
So for the myth that arrows fired from horseback have twice the penetration power, we've replaced our horse with a vehicle that I'm gonna drive at exactly 40 miles an hour. And as soon as we get to this mark, which is exactly 60 feet away from the target, I'll take the shot and hit the target.
And I'll mark them, measure them, keep notes on how far they penetrate into the target. We'll compare them with our standing shot, and we'll finally know the answer to this myth.
It's a legend that's been hotly debated for 500 years. So I guess we can hang on for a few more minutes to call it confirmed, plausible, or busted. Back in the 1930s, there was nothing funnier than watching an automobile deconstruct after a minor collision. Okay, it's still funny.
I told you not to make that last payment.
But these days, we're less inclined to laugh at catastrophic car failure. Adam and Jamie have gone into meltdown trying to replicate the myth of the exploding bumper. Jennifer Schmid said the bumper that broke her leg traveled just 15 feet, but the myth we're working with says 50. So far, Adam and Jamie haven't managed to shoot a bumper 5 inches.
Damn it. Man, this one is kicking my butt. I mean, we are just not seeing any of the exploding bumper action we're trying to get out of these shocks.
Well, yeah, but it kind of makes sense. I mean, these things are designed to not fail catastrophically. Could be just a 1 in a million shot.
Just got to be in the right place at the right time or the wrong place at the wrong time. We still have to get that shot. We still have to see a bumper shooting 50 feet through the air, so how do we get that?
When in doubt, C4. Well, maybe not C4, but you get the picture.
Yeah, I do.
So now, throwing caution and custom to the wind, they're engineering the spectacle we've all been begging for. Jamie cuts 2 massively upscaled pistons, and the plan here is to stuff them with sand, water, and explosives. The best venue in these situations, as always, is the bomb range.
Like a surgeon. Nicely done. We've got one main thing to do before we run this experiment, which is attach the bumper to the car. And it's got a little more support than your average bumper. These explosive pistons are about 14 inches deep, and I need to hog out enough of the car's structure to get this puppy in there to attach the bumpers.
Adam enthusiastically hogs out the front end, making room for Jamie's upscaled, hand-built pistons.
I think that's pretty much it.
Now for the explosive bit. To make it happen, we've re-enlisted the man who set a similar charge for motorcycle flip, pyrotechnician Matt Herron.
Boom.
Boom.
We're ramping it up, which is kind of what we do on this show. So in this case, what we're doing here is putting the same amount of gunpowder that we used just a little while ago on motorcycle flip to shoot a motorcycle that weighed, 250 pounds or so straight up in the air.
Well, the timing was perfect.
If you say so, Junior. In this case, all we've got to do is launch about 50 or 75 pounds straight that way. So it's going. So what do you think? Charge in the end, sand the rest of the way?
Sounds like a plan, yeah.
Adam's plan is to place a mannequin exactly 50 feet in front of the car, just like the myth says.
Be cooperative, love.
For some reason, he's overcome by an urge to paint it red.
Well, that increases its visibility.
Meantime, Jamie's focused on the details of the detonation.
Now, instead of compressed gas, we're going to put some gunpowder and a bunch of wet sand in here.
Okay.
Why the wet sand? Well, if we just packed this with gunpowder, we'd have a pipe bomb. So the wet sand actually acts as a shock absorber for the gunpowder, and it translates that bang into forward movement.
Matt connects both charges to the same circuit.
This is my favorite part.
So the 2 shocks should blow simultaneously. Jamie lards up the cylinders to minimize the friction.
That ought to do it.
And the bumper gets refitted. Nice and tight.
It's good right there.
Perfect. What do you think?
I think we're gonna hit this guy. I think this thing's gonna fly 50 feet. I have a good feeling.
I think the bumper's going to stay still and the car's going to go up the hill.
You don't really think that?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So Matt sets the twin fuses.
We're fully armed?
We're hot.
And hopefully, we're about to get the finish we've come to expect.
All right, simulated bumper blast in 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Damn.
Wow.
We may have overdone that.
Overdone is a word we discourage here on MythBusters. The trajectory was perfect, the mannequin's a shattered wreck, and hey, we got what we came for.
Well, it definitely flew 50 feet.
Oh, look, it's up there on the hill.
Wow.
Looks like we're gonna have to get another dummy. We go through these mannequins like candy.
I know.
They had to fudge the method, but now we have an insight into how unlikely a 50-foot blast must be. The bumper that smashed Jennifer's leg broke in 3 because the 2 shocks didn't explode in unison. We needed Matt's expertise and 2 plugs of gunpowder to make that happen. Still,
These red stripes right here, those are your kneecaps. Now, granted, we might have exaggerated a little bit with this, but we know that this did happen with a very similar device with a car fire. So if you see a car fire, you shouldn't stand around it. You might get hurt.
I'm pretty happy. We came here to make a bumper fly 50 feet, and we totally exceeded that. It's a good test.
hey, it's a great test, but simultaneous catastrophic failure and a 50-foot launch? No way in the wide world. This one's busted. Grant, Carrie, and Tori are testing the myth that an arrow fired from a galloping horse has twice the penetration of an arrow fired from rest. They've had to make a few adjustments along the way.
Even with trained horses, they might gallop at a different speed on each run. And even with expert archers, sometimes you might draw back the bow just a little bit further. So what we're doing right now is getting rid of all those variables.
So the horse becomes a jeep, and the medieval bow gets replaced by a modern crossbow. The changes are essential for reliable, repeatable testing.
The first set of data points we're going to take are static shots. We're going to shoot a bunch of arrows into our target. I'm going to mark and measure each one, and that way we'll have a great comparison for when we actually do our moving shots.
Tori's ready to rip through 10 arrows in quick succession from a standing start.
In 3, 2, 1, fire! Fire!
Nice!
In 3, 2, 1. Oh!
He is consistent, but there's an unsettling pattern developing here.
That was a little too close for comfort there.
Still, nice grouping.
3, 2, 1. Oh! Right in the ding-dong!
Now it's up to Carrie to mark the depth of each shaft.
That one had to hurt right there in the genetic legacy. Ow. It's like I was aiming or something.
Then put her back into it. 10 test arrows should give us a good average static depth to work from.
The average from our static shots is 8.77 inches of penetration. So now we're going to take our moving shots and compare the two.
All right, go to position.
And they've nailed all the vital stats. The Jeep will hit exactly 40 miles per hour. The arrows will fire at 135 miles per hour. And Tori will shoot at precisely 60 feet from the target.
Oh! Let's go to war!
Wow, it sure looks like a lot of fun shooting arrows from the car and driving really fast. I'm sure glad that I get to collect all the data.
I'm about to load the crossbow.
They're gonna be jealous when they see me doing math.
Here we go.
Grant revs the Jeep like it's a rental. Then gets it up to speed. Tori steadies, aims, and makes one tiny mistake.
So excited! I got so excited I forgot to take the safe, y'all. All right.
Okay, good practice run, everyone.
All right.
This one's for real.
Good time, everyone.
All good fun, but we've got a medieval myth to bust. Tori finally gets his act together.
Okay, we're in position and we're ready to go.
All right, hi-ho, shoot!
Now, let's see if Tori can keep his composure and hit the target.
Go!
The first 3 shots found a steady latitude. One hit the shield, one hit Tori, and the last hit Carrie in her favorite kidney.
I keep forgetting we're trying to get like some actual data from all this.
Yeah. Oops. Dude.
I thought we were just having fun.
Yeah, don't forget to do the science.
Yeah, let's not forget the science. These 10 running shots will bust or confirm the myth that arrows shot forwards at 40 miles per hour bury themselves twice as deep in the target.
You're ready to go.
Tori turns out to be a natural-born archer. If shooting a crossbow from the back of a moving Jeep was an Olympic sport, actually, why isn't it?
Oh, I can do this all day. I gotta remember to stop. I just like keep going.
This just never gets old.
But Tori's down to his last arrow.
Ready when you are.
And so far, barbarian dwarf Grant is unscathed.
You got the dwarf!
I got the
Yeah! You got the little bearded Grant!
You think you were gonna get out of this battle unscathed? I don't think so, friend.
All right, now for the fun part.
Yeah.
Data! I'm gonna go do math. Don't be jealous.
Once more, Carrie marks the shafts exactly where they pierce the foam. And they're even harder to extract than last time.
Well, they feel like they've gone in further.
Now for the tail of the tape, as Carrie measures the penetration of all 10 arrows shot from a 40-mile-per-hour running start.
The figures are actually pretty interesting. We are getting an average of 11 inches with all the moving shots, which is a little over 2 inches more penetration than all the static shots. So we are getting more penetration, but it's not the double that the myth actually claims.
Fire. 1.
If it was double, these arrows would have buried themselves all the way up to their feathers.
Okay, Carrie, so what do you got?
Well, for the static shots, I got an average of 8.77. Now for the moving shots, I got an average of 11.04 inches.
Wow, so it did penetrate deeper.
It did. It didn't have double the penetration, but it definitely had over 2 inches.
All right, well, before we call this one busted, I think we need to go back to the shop, double check the high speed, and see what the speeds of the arrows were.
The key to this myth is penetration, but after measuring our arrows, this one's busted.
Yeah, and we used bead foam, which has a similar density to both our ballistic material and the human body. And we only got 25% more penetration, which is far from what their stories told.
And that was backed up by our high-speed footage, which showed that our iron horse increased the speed of our arrows by 31%, resulting in only a 72% increase in kinetic energy. Not quite double.
Yeah, but you gotta give it to them. Riding horseback did give them some advantage. It just wasn't exactly as much as they bragged about.
Yeah, but that being said, the arrows still didn't go twice as deep, so this one's busted.
Busted.
Busted.